Sony FE 24mm f1.4 GM review released in October 2018. The Sony FE 24mm f1.4 GM is the 8th edition in Sony's G-Master series of lenses. G-Master lenses are touted as premium products, with stress on superior detail when matched with high-resolution lenses, excellent bokeh performance, and high-end reliability. The lens was designed with the full-frame 35mm digital sensor in mind and is additionally compatible with cameras using an APS-C-sized sensor. On those cameras, the lens will produce a field of view of approximately 36mm. The lens takes 67mm filters, ships with the ALCSH 154 petal-shaped lens hood, and is out there now for about $1,400. Sharpness: Sony claims spectacular resolution even at f1.4, and based on the test results for sharpness, we're inclined to agree. Optimal sharpness is achieved at f5.6, but the performance at other, faster apertures is very good as well. It's not likely you will see a practical impact of the slight corner softness that's noted in our test results in the faster apertures, but if your eye is super critical, performance at f1.4 is perhaps the only noteworthy standout. We're talking about corners that test at 2 blur units, sloping to a central region of the image that's approaching 1 blur unit, not a big deal, indeed. And stopping down does remove almost all of this slight corner softness until it's almost tack sharp at f5.6. Distortion: the 24mm f1.4 GM does alright to limit distortion, showing but plus 0.1% barrel distortion within the corners when mounted on the NEX7. On the Sony A7R, there's ever so slightly more distortion. On average, this is plus 0.1% barrel distortion, but curiously we note a maximum result of around minus 0.4% pincushion distortion. With numbers like these, however, the image is practically undistorted. Autofocus operation: the lens uses a direct Drive SSM supersonic wave focusing motor, making it compatible with all modern Sony camera bodies. Autofocus is fast, about 1 second to slew through infinity to closest focus, and is near silent. Autofocus results can be overridden at any time by just turning the focus ring. Macro: the 24mm f1.4 GM makes a poor macro lens, with just 0.17x magnification and a minimum close focusing distance of 24 cm under a foot. Alternatives: to stay within the Sony ecosystem, there aren't many alternatives in this category of the lens. If you're a Sony shooter, your only other option is the Sony 24mm f2 Carl Zeiss Distagon T*, but you'd have to use an adapter to fit it to a NEX or A7 body. The Carl Zeiss lens was designed for mount DSLRs. It has a maximum aperture of f2, and as it is still on shelves at the same price point, there's little reason to prefer it over the newer lens. Sigma does offer its 24mm f1.4 DDSSM art lens in the Sony FE mount, but we have not yet tested this lens, so we can't confirm whether it is worse or better. Focusing: Sony was rather pleased with its ability to form a lens this wide and this fast that also could close focus at a powerful 0.24 meters, or somewhere within the ballpark of 9.4 inches. That doesn't sound particularly close on paper, but once you combine it with such a good angle perspective, it allows you to urge some particularly unique images. In both of the above examples, I felt front element of the lens directly into the topic. I used to be so close. This is of course not the reality of the situation, but when looking through the EVF, the way the field of view is presented, the tips of the evergreen leaves and the sides of the redwood tree felt right up against my eye. Sony FE 24mm f1.4 GM overview: Sony's latest prime, 30th total full-frame E-mount lens, and 8th addition to the G-Master line, is the FE 24mm f1.4 GM. A product of their latest lens technology, the 24mm f1.4 G-Master uses a newly developed direct drive supersonic motor (DDSSM) that provides 3 times greater thrust compared to previous iterations of the technology, resulting in a faster response, higher positioning accuracy, and quiet operation. One of the standout features of the 24mm f1.4 GM is its size and weight. It's a mere 445 grams and is extremely compact. Features new and unique optical design. The Sony 24mm f1.4 GM utilizes 13 elements in 10 groups, with 2 XA elements and 3 ED glasses to deliver outstanding resolution. Additionally, Sony's front element is aspherical, spurning the planning choices of the competition who all use the aspherical element because of the second lens optic. According to Sony, this design choice has led the 24mm f1.4 GM to hit spectacular center detail even wide open, and with no significant drop by quality or contrast at the corners. With regards to the second accomplishment, they might be the sole manufacturer of a 24mm f1.4 to achieve this feat, as all other makers suffer significant contrast issues in their corners wide open when comparing MTF charts. Beautiful bokeh and close-up capability due to a circular 11-bladed aperture, that result in a smooth, buttery effect for isolating subjects when shooting wide open. Additionally, the 24mm can focus quite close, with a minimum focus distance of just 0.24 meters (0.79 feet), allowing for unique angles and a razor-thin focus plane. The lens can open as wide as f1.4 and close down as far as f16. Custom function button, click-to-click aperture. A custom function button that can be assigned from the camera's menu can be found on the barrel of the lens, as well as a click-to-click aperture switch that allows both photographers and filmmakers to use the lens equally and without any limitation. Price and availability. The Sony FE 24mm f1.4 GM has been available since October of 2018 and retails for $1,399.99 US, $1,899.99 Canada.